It's time for Top Story, and Syria has always cast a long shadow over its small neighbour Lebanon, and the conflict has sharpened the divisions between pro- and anti-Syrian camps in Beirut. Lebanon's president has postponed a national dialogue that was to begin this week between the March the 14th coalition and Hezbollah. Hezbollah, of course, not just a political party, but a military organisation that backs Syria and Iran. Well, to talk about the impact of Syria on Lebanon, I'm joined here on set by international affairs editor Arman Georgian. Arman, this mistrust between Lebanon's political forces, I mean, it appears to be deepening, would you say?
Definitely. I mean, firstly, you've got this surface issue, Stuart, which is that March the 14th is demanding data on telecoms to see who is behind aborted assassination attempts on its members. Obviously, some of them think that Hezbollah has got a hand in it. But clearly what's in the background of all this is the conflict in Syria, how it's going to affect Hezbollah, and there are huge stakes for both sides in Lebanon. The future not just of Hezbollah as a military and political force, but the whole Hezbollah, Iran, Damascus axis. And this is why Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, has been very public in supporting the government in Syria. He came out recently to offer condolences to the families of those who were killed in that bombing in Damascus the other week. Let's take a listen to Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah.
We are going to miss them, and we offer our condolences to the Syrian leadership and the Syrian army and the Syrian people and their families. And we condemn this targeted killing, which only serves the interest of the enemy and those leaders, the martyrs. Today we support the resistance on many fronts. They were our brothers in arms. We offer our condolences. We bless their martyrdom and feel sad for their killing and for their loss, because they were our brothers in arms and our comrades in the fight against the Israeli enemy for decades.
So listening to that, Arman, what's Hezbollah's strategy?
I mean, there's obviously this rhetorical element, a slightly messianic approach, resistance to Israel and all that, sort of saying we are great. But I think logistically, Stuart, there's something very interesting going on there, withdrawing weapons from Syria, their stockpiles there. The residents in South Beirut, in Dahir, a suburb there, have reported trucks arriving in the night for several weeks now, apparently going to weapons depots, so they're clearly worried about losing the Syrian patronage. What they're also doing is playing the Iran card, and that's why this anti-Israeli rhetoric we just heard is coming in, because basically Hezbollah is saying to Iran, well, we're not certain what's going to happen with Syria, but you've got to continue backing us because we're now your only firm instrument against Israel.
So surely the last thing that Lebanon needs now is a bit of an escalation on the Israeli border.
It looks like just a rhetorical flourish, because at the moment, can Hezbollah really take the risk of some kind of military confrontation in the south of Lebanon when there's this Lebanese refugee issue, or rather Syrian refugee issue, tens of thousands of people crossing the border into Lebanon? And what people in Lebanon and across the region are thinking about is, how's that going to affect this delicate confessional balance in Lebanon between Sunnis, Shiites, Druze, other groups, and particularly if these refugees, Stuart, stay for a long time. I mean, we could have instability for years. What's going to happen to those Syrian refugees? How are they going to melt into this balance inside Lebanon?
And what about the sectarian faults that we've seen in Syria? I mean, have they been replicated in Lebanon at all?
To some extent, yes. There's already, we've seen clashes in the last couple of months in Tripoli, in northern Lebanon. There we have Tripoli on our map. And what's interesting here, this is between Alawites in Lebanon and Sunnis in Lebanon. So in a sense, replicating that conflict across the border. But what's interesting here, Stuart, if you look at the map also, we've got Tartus and Latakia. That's the sort of Alawite stronghold in Syria. So it raises the question of a sort of an Alawite arc across that whole Mediterranean strand, and one wonders what that could do as well to the balance in Lebanon. I think more broadly, what we're seeing in Lebanon is perhaps an emboldened conservative Sunni element that wants to take on the power of Hezbollah and its Alawite allies. And the backdrop to all of that is the Arab Spring, which has brought to power conservative Sunni elements that don't like the Shiite elites in Iran and Syria.
Explaining all to you, that's what Top Story is all about. Armin Georgian,
Thank you.
International Affairs Editor. Thanks very much. That's today's Top Story. Do stay with us on France 24.